7:41 on the Kiwi.
Basically, this generation is more liberal, more tolerant, more Democrat-leaning than the one before. It's not just because they're young.
For another point of view, it's Hard News with Russell Brown and Wammo on Kiwi.
Yes, he's the head honcho at publicaddress.net and also the man on Media 7, the show on TVNZ 7. Russell Brown joins us this morning. Good morning, Russell.
Good morning.
Earlier on in the week, Nigel Latter came out in support, I suppose you could call it support of the so-called anti-smacking law and the way it's actually working, which has been a bit of a smack in the face to the Family First people. Yeah,
I got the impression that Nigel Latter was a bit shocked when he looked into the cases that Family First has been championing and discovered that none of them really stacked up. This is actually quite serious. I'm astonished that the various news media organisations, their first thought was still to go to Bob McCoskrie and ask him his opinion.
Yeah.
Because when you look at these cases, they have been deliberately misrepresented by Family First. And in every case, as Nigel Latter said, everyone he looked at, the police and other agencies were absolutely right to get involved and do what they did. And had they not, he would have wanted to know why. And yet these are cases which have been presented as ordinary good parents being preyed upon by the state. And you're in this situation now where Bob McCoskrie and Family First have basically cast their lot with abusers. In every single case, they have sided with sometimes very violent abusers.
And now are appearing to be quite anti-police.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, that's kind of been coming. They're a bit more explicit about it this time. This is with the so-called pillow fight case. Again, Family First had quite a lot of success in getting this reported as an example of the police being petty and unnecessarily bringing someone to court.
Yeah.
And the police actually took the unusual step of issuing a statement on this one, because this had been depicted by Bob McCoskrie as the police taking someone to court over a pillow fight. Turns out nothing of the kind.
Yeah.
The person who had charges brought against him turns out to have a long history of violent domestic abuse. And also, the odd little thing like a conviction for armed robbery. And it wasn't a pillow fight. A child was hurt in the context of a domestic disturbance between the man and his partner. So you kind of think, how far will Bob McCoskrie go to justify and minimise the behaviour of people who violently abuse children, because that's what it is.
But here's the thing, right? I mean, at the end of the day, he's a crazy crackpot, right?
Yeah.
And the only reason why we're even hearing his name and hearing his opinions is because the media keeps on giving him a disproportionate amount of attention.
That's exactly it. And he runs an organisation that's basically just him. It doesn't have a membership.
Yeah.
It has a kind of funny little governing board thing that Michael Jones, the former All Black of all people, is on. It deliberately doesn't have a membership, because then Family First, if it had a membership, would have to be a little bit more open and disclose its funding sources, which I actually think aren't necessarily, some deep dark secret. They get a lot of small donations from conservative Christians, but
this is not just an issue with the smacking debate. This is the same problem we have with the climate change debate.
Yeah.
Or 9/11. The
media, all the sensible sentencing trust.
Yeah, exactly. So the media give a disproportionate amount of attention to the skeptics, the weirdos, and the freaks.
Yeah, exactly. The 9/11 truthers have had a marvellous run on Close-Up on TVNZ recently. The one that was, it wasn't clear at all whether Mike Hosking was briefed at all before he talked to Richard Gage, who's the 9/11, it was an inside job guy. And then this week, running a reader's poll, as if that would change the science or mean anything. Who do you believe, Gareth Morgan and the mass scientists of the world, or
Ian
Wishart, who believes that climate change is all a hoax.
77% of close-up people who texted in believe Ian Wishart.
Yeah, which was just, I mean, it's not surprising, because the people who believe him are going to be more motivated to get off their chuffs.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but it is still, what a meaningless thing. Nothing but a revenue-raising exercise, basically.
Yeah. Now, the media would turn around and say, the mainstream media would turn around and say, but we're just providing balance.
Nah.
But at what point does it, is the balance not there?
Yeah, this balance thing becomes absurd when you're striking this faux balance between a mainstream, widely supported, evidentially backed view and the guys on the other side.
Yeah.
Who actually don't really have a case, but happen to be the guys on the other side. So, we'll go to them for balance. It's not balance. It's actually a distortion of the issue. But
I've heard about one particular reporter who's gone over to Copenhagen. Has had the pressure put on by her producers and bosses that they must provide a balance, and that is always in every single item mention what the skeptics are up to.
Which is completely absurd. Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it is troubling that sort of approach is still going on.
Yeah.
But then again, journalists, especially news journalists on TV, aren't really that good with science. They're not that good at looking at data, which is sad but true.
Let's now look at another issue that's come up this morning. The TVNZ Charter. TVNZ Charter is set to be repealed in a move commentators will say will end its public broadcaster role and turn it into a cash cow for the government. Russell?
Yeah, well, you have to say, I mean, Jonathan Coleman's been very wriggly about exactly what the vision is for TVNZ once the Charter's gone, and it appears there isn't one, frankly. It's the most unambitious. You know, why would you bother owning a TV company if you're going to have that unambitious a vision for it?
Well, okay, under the old rules, under the Charter, there was a lengthy list including all genres of New Zealand programs, a significant Maori voice, arts and sports, programs for a wide range of ages, interests, etc., etc. The new rules, it comes down to one statement, basically: provide high-quality content that is relevant to and enjoyed and valued by New Zealand audiences and encompasses both New Zealand and international content and reflects Maori perspectives.
Yeah, and apart from it reflects Maori perspectives, it's pretty much what any broadcaster, public or private, would hope to do as an absolute minimum.
Same as TV3, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So it does look like, I mean, there were always problems with the dual remit, and that, you know, TVNZ had to fulfil public broadcaster goals whilst paying a dividend to the government. You know, and so it had to make the money, and I don't think that was ever easy. But dispensing with any kind of charter role altogether just seems sort of weird and sad.
Where does this leave programs like Artville, your program Media 7?
Who knows? I mean, the 6 and 7 channels are about halfway through a 5-year funding grant from the government, and that is based on a public service role.
Yeah.
So the 6 and 7 still have a public service role built into their funding. Who knows what happens after that? But
because from the sound of it, the only programs he wants made in New Zealand are Outrageous Fortunes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great program, obviously, but he's leaving no room for niche audiences. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Platinum Fund, which is where the charter money went, still does exist, and it may be that 6 and 7 end up carrying the public service obligation, you know, for the rest of the network. I mean, it's still not necessarily a disaster. It actually depends quite a lot now, I think, on what happens to the digital channels.
Yeah.
And that's not clear at all. So.
And also, even in the digital realm, that being the internet as well. I saw in a news item about TVNZ redundancies on the weekend, a wee mention about a whole heap of digital equipment that's arriving over the next year for TVNZ, and they aim to be basically the internet broadcaster in New Zealand. Yeah,
and I think you'll also see things like journalists shooting and editing their own stories more as well.
Right.
That wouldn't surprise me. Also changes in the air at TV3 too. Yesterday it was announced that Ian Audsley will be the new Executive Director Television for MediaWorks, and to be frank, the guy has a reputation as a hatchet man.
Oh, okay.
Basically he comes into organisations and fires people, gets the costs right, and then leaves again. And he's an operations guy basically. So there could be some tough times at TV3 as well. So I think that both of the major TV broadcasters next year might not be easy for everyone, actually.
Well, watch this space. Or
on that cheery note.
Yeah, as the case may be, maybe not watch that space. Thanks very much, Russell.
Okay, cheers. I'm just going to let my cat in. He's been glaring at me through the door while I've been talking to you. Okay.
See ya. Russell Brown at publicaddress.net and the Media 7 show, TVNZ 7.